Hello, hello, and good morning, everybody. I'm sure everyone's finding out it's a powerful week this week after all the changes and transformations that happen that you're not even aware of. So let me say good morning to everybody. Let me get to the top. Carrie, the world traveler, good morning. Chase, many blessings to you. Cavell, Chase again. We'll come back to your question, Chase. That's what I was contemplating before I turned this on. And Barbara Ward, I'm doing great. And Anik, good morning. I hope you're doing well today. And Kathy Marino, good morning, Mother TheoSophia. Well, so let's do our preparation and then we'll talk. How's that? So, someone asked me, why do you run your hands together? I do because I was shown that this is an empowerment of the light within me. It has a signal going to work. We're going to be here for people type of thing. And we're going to ask Mother and Father to come and be deep within our hearts today. And ask for them to support us in an unveiling of that which prevents us perhaps from seeing whatever level of illusion that you live in and allow it to become a truth, a divine truth. We're going to ask those angels and those ascended masters who can come and help with that to present themselves. And we'll certainly encourage all those from the universe to come and to be present who are on their journey and doing their due diligence. For it is true, one cannot say they're on their journey if they're not. If you're a once every week thing and you just sit down, that's not being on your path. Being on your path is contemplating through every day, everything you say, where your heart is, how you interact, how you react. Lessons, observing lessons, embracing lessons. And that is the path we're on. And Julie Johnson, I didn't see you. Good morning to you. And thank you, Chase and Carol, when she's here, and anyone else who's a moderator for helping with everyone and have it all move smoothly. So let's go to Chase. Had a great question today. Let's see, where do I find it? How does one eliminate growing up conditioning, which is interfering with one's spiritual growth? Well, I think this is a great question because when we're small, even though we choose our parents, that's very much defined in the spiritual evolution. And we have ourselves in a situation where we always don't have choice when we're younger at what about spiritual or religion or any kind of dogma comes into our world. But then there's a time when perhaps you discover there's something else, there's something more, there's a different belonging in some way within you. And yet there's tradition, which is another word we could use, of how and what needs to be done, because that's how it's always been. Well, this is a process of doing healing and beginning to whittle away on truths that aren't yours anymore, and to understand them and have respect for it. Remember, it's respect, honor, and sacred is the motto. And as long as you can hold those three, as I just took myself away from my question, sorry. There are some things that you cannot heal yourself, and this would be one I would say, because it's difficult to understand if you've had other conditioning, the truth about where you're going and what you as that individual desires in any different moment. It's, I believe, never to have a judgment in any way about what else is, but understanding that there are different freedoms and different understandings that can exist for people to then become a part of. And I'll take Catholic for an example. I've worked with many people who were born and raised and lived in a family of a deep being a Catholic, and that we went through that process of, it's almost like shedding a wall from around you, a skin of requirement, of responsibility, a lot of different words that all have to be taken and discover how that then has become a part of the life. And as you can embrace it and love it, it starts to let go. And you keep getting deeper and deeper into the process until you stand as someone who makes a choice about how they feel, who God is, who God isn't, and the belief. So it's a great question, Chase. And we tend to have, other than just our growing up conditioning, a lot of conditioning that we learn either from parents, and it can also be in school, that can become a part of what the spiritual growth is about. Remember, spiritual growth is about observing these things and transforming them. They're going to be there no matter what it is. And everybody, while in your individual life may be different, what I have learned about consciousness is we all have the same issues. It just may look different. We may have already cleared it in another life. But when it talks about us becoming one, it's because we have that 144,000 purity that is a line for all of us when we reach that. So, a good question, but healing. So what do I mean by healing? Well, like I said, I believe there's depths of healing that cannot be done by the self. And I do have examples of that. Like for many years, we spent 2 months of every summer out at Shasta, and there's a lot of very evolved people. And there were those who would boast about how they'd done everything themselves. Well, there's one word there I said that you would know that that's not working. They were being boastful. Because it's hard always to be able to rein in your ego yourself. And you need to have a loving person who's willing to say that to you, and you're able to hear it. And in that, you already have begun to put the ego into the heart and not given it power. Because I think the greatest conditioning is that which the ego has picked up and speaks to everybody, and you don't even know that's where it's coming from. So, yes, there's what you speak of, growing up, but there's also the development in life that we have. We've given the power to the ego to be that voice we hear in our head that tells us this or tells us that, and there needs to be a process of letting that go, to understanding that there are not two who tell you that or support you in that way. Let me see. So let's see here. Good morning, Kathy Marino. Deb Marsh, I'm just seeing if you're responding, Chase. Elisa Manzini, thank you for being new here. It looks like you subscribed. Remember, everyone, to hit the thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It helps the algorithms. And so if anyone else has a question about any of this, I know you all know that's what I teach is healing. And that's not why I have that belief. I had to learn that understanding as I did my own healing. I used to get a session 3 times a week for the 34 years and developed that depth of perception to understand that I can now hear when the voice is ego. I had someone the last week come by my home, and right away she says, "Oh, did you know?" I go, "Did I know what?" "I'm an intuitive now." I go, "Are you?" And I'm 100% accurate. I go, "Oh, are you?" And I just let her go, and it wasn't my place. But no one is ever 100% accurate. There can be very good ones. But I hope you could hear and her boast again. Yes, it's a different tone. It's a different frequency. So there's just so much to learn about how you can begin to learn to let things go when you can hear it and hear a different voice and wonder a different perception about it and how it fits in your experience. Remember, in that low back, in that second chakra, is your identification of self. And that's one right there that's always growing, always changing, and it always will be. No matter who you are, even the masters, they're still growing. They're still having experiences come that they are having to be challenged by and discover and unravel. It's a part of being of light. It really is. So let's see. Is there anyone else here I didn't say hello? Christina, there you are. Very good. Chase says, "Oh, I was raised a Catholic." Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I mean no disrespect in that. But I have had in my years a lot of people of that religion that have had a difficulty, and I don't want to go into it, but yes, it takes healing. And the reason why you can't see it yourself because you're still under the conditioning. And you wouldn't understand yourself how to get there or to unravel it. So, and Deb Marsh, welcome to you, but we're not doing messages today. You can come back tomorrow. Today we're having conversation. This is the reason I haven't moved forward in any healing readings, the ego and which is the real deal. Too many people have been thrown off or hurt. Let me see if I understand that. Do you mean, Julie, that you haven't moved into becoming a healer? And it is true. You have to let go of the ego. You have to make sure that what you're responding to and hearing isn't that. And the real deal is the person who isn't coming from ego and has cleared their energy, cleared their chakras, to move into a surrender. You become a vessel for God, and that's who speaks through the people that are a real deal. It isn't the ego. And that's not a journey that's over a couple years. It's not, everything's faster now, yes, but it's not possible. There is a lot, there's 144 pieces of you that have to be touched and allowed to shine their light. So there is a lot of healing to do. And we'll think of this discussion today and send it out throughout the world and the universe. Because it's just, if you get time to look at yourself and have that quiet space and embrace yourself with someone who does healing, it's very powerful. Every day is a learning experience, Deb says. Yes, that's absolutely right. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. God is closest to you in that moment your eyes open and your night when your eyes go to sleep. But all in between, you are most likely learning or experiencing the truth that you have learned. There's a whole subconscious to heal. That's when, being a child, anytime that something made you shut down and hold your breath, a subconscious part of you was developed, and it's still resonating if you haven't went in and healed that. That's another whole piece. There's so many parts. Julie Johnson says, the vessel state, done with love. Yes, but most importantly, done with clarity, no ego, and to be of service. I have been told I have healing hands. How do I develop that gift? Well, if you think of a channel, like a tube, and your channel comes through the crown, down into the heart, for your hands up over your shoulders and out. So that means heart, throat, third eye, and crown must be very clear for it to be pure. So these are how you feel about love, how love has or hasn't affected you, and it can even be past experiences. You have to go through all the issues of maybe talking, speaking up, talking to yourself. You see, there's just so much that has to be cleared. And if I tell people you got to run your energy of your hands through your hands every day, because if you don't and all of a sudden decide to do it, it's not going to be as strong as if it's used. And that light, if you call in God's light, will be healing your hands every day you use them. So there's a lot about healing with your hands. That's why I'm going to have this class at the end of January start. There's just so much that you can learn and begin changing, beginning to feel more free. Like even the part of the hand. Here's your third eye right here. My greatest power, and what usually once they work with me, is touching with the fingertips, not with the chakra in the hand. So just imagine that light as I touch people, as they touch each other, I have sight. So there's just a lot to learn. And so I'm glad, Julie Johnson, you haven't moved forward if you haven't overcome those things. You know, the masters will say there are those who get a little bit of gift and use it then to make a lot of money, or there's those who understand it's the beginning and do the development to become the true deal, the real deal, as you called it. Okay, so let's see. Who else said thank you? So Deb says, I sometimes have my hands tingle spontaneously, and even the bottoms of my feet. Is that healing energy coming in? I would say it's a healing energy moving through you. Energy comes in through your crown, down through your chakras. I have diagrams and things for you to do to heal that whole channel and all the chakras to be cleared. Yes, the feet are an important part of your rooting. If your feet are, because the energy will come up from the earth into your root chakra, and that's why you're feeling that in your feet. For whatever's happening and going on around you when that happens, Your body is going deep into the earth, which is how it needs to be. It isn't that we need to go up. We need to get rooted so that our experience of our light expands. Going up is fight or flight. You don't want to leave the body. You want to develop the consciousness of the body to be in its perfection, which would be rooted deep, 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 all the way to the center of the earth, which is from here, where I'm at in Florida, to Hawaii. And what that does is begin through all your chakras, let that which is identified as you and your aura to expand. And if it isn't done that way, then maybe your aura is this big and you're thinking it's this big, you see? So it's a lot to learn. Yes, let's see. So I hope that helps you understand. Again, you can rub your hands and get the energy moving. You got to get them open. And I'm hearing, do I suggest Reiki? No, I do not use Reiki. I work with God's light. And everybody has the ability. You call forth from the great central sun, which is where Mother and Father reside, other than within our hearts. And this beautiful beam of light, if anyone's calling it in right now, will come down through and settle into your heart if you don't have a different intention for it. Any other questions? I've had Reiki masters come work with me, and we change what they call in, and it's just a total difference for them. So I have no doubt, no hesitation to tell you that. People do give certifications for Reiki. Yes, they do. No, you do not need Reiki. You need the energy of God's light. I do not use Reiki. So take that for however you take that. No, God gives his light. And even as he also has different levels, there's no payment. There's being prepared. What you give back to God for evolving and being ready to handle a higher light with greater intensity is what he asks for. Okay. What makes my soul happy? The love I have for myself and God. I know he's always with me and holds me. I know that whatever I perhaps need or desire will come and will be. Not that it's desires of glamour, but, eating and living. It has proven itself. But my happiness is being able to be of service to him and do his work and watch people transform and have a different perception about things. That's truth. Just to begin, I could go on. Okay. The practice of daily running the energy is the key and to keep it flowing. Osteoarthritis is developing. Well, I would not make that last statement. You see, when you become an empowered being, words are things. What you speak goes out, and it never stops. It moves through the world. So I don't happen to believe that about people and disease. I believe healing is the magic of God's love. And as you work and you develop and love yourself, whatever there is will be healed. And I'm not just not saying this. I've been doing this for 34 years. I've seen it happen. You know, for those cases where it doesn't, they have had difficulty believing. Because the power of the other world, you know, I just had my ex-husband get very ill. And I knew what it was right away, so I referred him to someone else, like me. And it's been 7 days and he's already fine. So it's about what you believe. It's about how you love yourself. Because I said to you in the beginning, you would say, yeah, I love myself. And I don't believe you have a clue of the depths of that love and what it really feels like. And, you know, some people are very attached to what other people think or how you present yourself or this or that. And it isn't about that. It's about that happiness, that glow that draws people. That's the magic that really everyone's talking and wanting, but yet doesn't have, which you can have happen. The magic of the love and believing, that's right. You're welcome, Tim. Let's say, how to help us feel that love of God, to love of ourselves, to change the things we say and feel. You mean, how do you do that? You go on your path. You go on and start doing the healing. What is the first thing, if you think about what's challenging you today, then that would be where you start. And that would roll into the next thing. Because you want to know that everything that's happening in your day is purposeful. And it's giving you, how do you feel about this? And even if you've healed something, it'll always come back. Did you get it? Or we're going to present this to you again, because you'll present yourself with it. You see? So there's always healing. And it's every day. And I tend to now, not that I have it happen that much, but what is the lesson is my question. So what is it about this that I haven't transformed? You see? And she says, thank you. So, anybody else? I had chills all over my body when you answered my question of what makes your soul happy. Well, thank you, Chase. And see, I'm getting chills myself and want to cry again. I've always been one that when my tears come, I know God's within me. And someone said to me recently, oh, well, you know, you're not the only one with a soft voice. And I said, to be honest with you, never even thought about it being about my voice. It's about God's within me. And then they didn't say anything. So it's all very interesting. Yes, my voice changes. And now my singing, I had the problem, and now it's becoming very beautiful again. So soon I'll be singing more, and that's God singing. That's not me. I was raised as a little girl that wanted to sing, and I was horrible. They would all cover their ears in choir when I had to sing. And it wasn't until I got initiated into the Bija Mantra, which was a gathering of all the masters. And Douglas and I were aligned into the lineage of the masters. And it's been ever since then. My voice has continually gotten more beautiful. So it isn't me. It's God or the angels who come through to sing. It's a powerful thing. Oh, Julie's saying she's teared up too. Yes, it's powerful. And I think it needs to be spoken. I have a master class that's now going on, perhaps its 12th or 13th year. And we grow. They don't leave. Because it's just so powerful when you're on the path and you're together and you become a soul family and you're learning, and it's just, and we do a few hours. It used to be all weekend. Now, in a few hours, they've had enough energy and they go on. So it's a very powerful thing. And words can't really explain it. For those who are guided to it are going to know that they're meant to be there. And why would you want to do that? Well, the first thing I learned was about one brain. That's who helped me my first time. I don't know if you've ever heard that story, but and that's about the subconscious. When you are a child, you don't even maybe remember it. Held your breath, and it's still inside you. So, however many situations now have happened that have separated you, when you finally go in and embrace that child, you're loving you. And that's how it works. And we create huge resorts full of children from the subconscious that are happy and free. There's food and there's merry-go-rounds, everything. And it makes a difference in the happiness that then you live every day. It's the inner children, those inner pieces that have not been dealt with, that makes a difference on how you are and how you feel. Okay. So, how did I know about God's light? Well, when I was doing the one brain, I knew people were running energy because it's not an energy running thing. So I went to one lady and I walked out and I couldn't even drive my car. I was just a mess because I was aware enough of my chakras that it wasn't okay. So I went to this lady then a few months later, and she played this music of the monks, which I was a monk, and I went on this entire journey, and they gave me the awareness about God's love and did a number of things for me. Not only gave me the pure light, which isn't handed down through millions of people, but then God's light is from God to you. And it helps support your relationship with God. Because every time you reach to Him to call it in, there's partnership. And I would say that relationship to God becomes one of the most challenging for people. And I one day had to sit and ask myself, why is that? And I think it's still the conditioning that this is their life or your life. And all that, whatever that is. My life now lives to do God's work. And when you do that, God will always take care of you. I get some whoppers thrown at me sometimes, but you can always say no thank you. Ask to do things that, oh sure, I'll do that. Or no, I don't feel I could do that. And that's it. Goes on to the next one. There's many offices of people like myself. within the consciousness of God that do his work. I'm just one. And I'm a nurturing mother. There's others that do other things. It's not like you have to know always. It's just their work comes about. So here we are. And I'm going to get off and wonder, what did I say? Because I'm just responding. Anything else from anybody? I mean, how much better can it get? Who else would you want for a boss, huh? But someone who loves you has already forgiven you for anything or whatever you could have done and gives you all that you need. And that's a difficult thing for people to really grasp. And as you do, more gifts come. I still receive more gifts, always. Become clearer. My sight, which was known to be unrestricted, not labeled by me, and yet it still does become clearer. Well, thank you, Rice Experiment. Great messages of love. It's really what it's all about, is the love. But I also believe it's about proper training. And if that sounds like I'm a stickler, whatever you want to call that word, no. But if it's not done correctly, then you won't achieve the right results. And most importantly, what we want to do in working with consciousness is to support someone, not to create harm. So, yes. Good. So, very good questions today. I appreciate every one of them. If anybody has one more, I'll wait and go there with you. Other than that, we've had another powerful day here at TheoSophia Rising, right? And know that name is about rising of consciousness, which in that we all rise. There's never any one person that's where they need to be. They need to be where they are in the moment, but they can always grow. That's you and that's me. All right, let's see. You're welcome, Kathy. Cavell, thank you very much. Blessings to everybody, like Deb says. And tomorrow, I guess you'll read in the notice. I don't know what we'll be doing tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? Jesus is still quiet. He's went into meditation and he's must still be in his space, whatever it is that is between him and his Father. So probably messages. But if not, maybe we'll have another talk again. I don't know. This was wonderful. My heart feels very expansive and much love coming back from all of you. So many blessings. God bless. And may your day be free.